What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see back behind me, on another cold day. Started out sunny, but it's this time of day where the clouds are starting to roll in and the trees is blocking it. So it's got it a little chilly out here, so don't be surprised if you see me go run for a jacket. But I've been out here way worse than this, so it ain't nothing that's gonna keep me from getting this testing done. And this one right here should be a very interesting 357 SIG versus 10 mil test. So of course, I've got the jelly contraption set up out here with a couple of chronos and 2 blocks of gel. Now, believe it or not, I've only done one test so far today, but it got crazy up in here with some 40 Smith & Wesson that wasn't worth a darn, so it even tracked up into my other block. But I've got a big clear space on this front side here, so shouldn't have any problem putting them in, and I'll give y'all some different angles to make sure you get a good view. Of course, as standard, I'm using my heavy clothing barrier with the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And for this one here, we're checking out a couple of top tier offerings from Federal. We got the Federal Premium HST in 10 millimeter and 357 SIG. So for the 357 SIG, we got the 125 grain HST. The box velocity on this is saying 1360 at the muzzle. You can see there, nice nickel plated case with that HST projectile. And then for the 10 mil, same thing, Federal Premium HST, but now this is 200 grain. This is all they make the 10 mil HST in. So we got 200 grains here. Now the velocity on this is claiming 1130. So already, if you're just going purely based on power, velocity, and numbers, the 10 millimeter takes the win if these things meet the velocity, because you're looking at about 515-ish foot-pounds of energy on this 357 SIG based on these velocities on the box, and you're looking at 560 something based on these velocities on this 10 mil. Now, I personally don't expect to see the velocities from either one of these, but they should be pretty close. I've actually tested these 10 mil HST before. They performed really well in the gel, but just a little slow for my liking, a little bit lacking on power for what I want for 10 mil. Now, as far as what we're running these out of today, with the 10 mil, of course, I'm using my Glock 20 Gen 4 with the roughly 4.5 inch barrel. And for the 357 SIG, I'm actually using a Glock 22 here, but I've got a Lone Wolf Glock 31 357 SIG barrel in it. So for all intents and purposes, this is a Glock 31 that's going to be testing the 357 SIG with a 4.5 inch barrel. So this should be a really interesting one. Personally, I suspect both of these rounds are going to be a little short as far as what people that actually run these two calibers are looking for, but I think they're both going to do really well in the gel. Let's get this stuff set up and let's see what they can do. All right, y'all, let's see how fast these things are actually running. We'll start with this 357 SIG first. Now, for those of y'all not familiar with the Labrator, I'm going to do a 5-round average on both. You'll see multiple velocity readings on this thing. Your large number is going to be your muzzle velocity. The 5 at the bottom you've got set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then you've got 10, 15, 25, and 50. So let's see what we get here. Now, remember the box on this SIG was saying 1360. So hopefully we'll get right there at it. If not, exceeding it would be really nice. Whew, that's some loud stuff. 1420. 1425. And this is some loud stuff. 1445. 1433. And 1438, that's some nice power from that stuff right there. Loud, and you can feel it. Feels pretty nice for sure. Let's see what that average was. All right, this is definitely not what I expected here. We got a 5-round average on that of 1,432 feet per second, an extreme spread of 25, and a standard deviation of 10.2. 1432 is moving on out pretty nicely. The box only claimed 1360, so a rare occasion where it exceeded the box numbers. You gotta love seeing that, and that's flipping the script right there on that 10 mil. If it don't hit them numbers or better, then that whole talk about the power being to the 10 mils way is going to change quickly. But let me get this stuff reset and let's see what it can do. All right, y'all, I ain't jumping ship or anything, but this 10 mil's in trouble. Let me tell you something. Even if this 10 mil hits the 1130 that the box is claiming with what that 357 SIG just did, it's still a little bit shy of the energy that SIG put out. So the 10 mil's in trouble, because I don't think we're going to hit that 1130. I remember when I tested this HST 10 mil before being disappointed in the velocity. So I don't know. I can't remember what it actually did hit, but let's find out here, y'all. 1125, 1128, 1125, 1115. And 1126, very, very consistent, but it did not even hit the 1130 on the box, which means that 357 SIG already won as far as the energy numbers. But let's check out this average. All right, y'all, so our 5-round average on that 10 mil was 1124 feet per second, so just short of what the box is claiming. Extreme spread was 13 and a standard deviation of 5.1, so really, really consistent right there. But again, already, if you're judging this right here based purely on numbers, velocity, energy, the 357 SIG just won. It already just won right there. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't want to make this about a 10 mil rant again, but that to me is just sad right there. There's no sense in that 200 grain HST moving at 1124 feet per second. To me, that's sad. Now, once I look at the numbers, it may have been doing what it's supposed to do at 50, blah, 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 all that mess. But I'm telling you right now, there ain't no sense in putting out 200 grain HST that's going that slow. But anyway, it's 1124 on that. And if you remember on that 357, it was 1432, so quite a bit faster out of that 357 SIG. Now, that's really neither here nor there because you're talking about 125 versus 200, but definitely more energy out of that 357 SIG. Now, as far as that equals in the gel, I think both of these are going to do a fantastic job here in the gel. But let's get this stuff set up, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's down with the Cygnus jelly time. I'm gonna put one of each into the gel, starting with this 357 first. I expect we're gonna see good stuff from this right here. No doubt about it. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. All right, that should have been absolutely perfect. Hopefully that thing didn't come out like the last test. Let's go see what I got. All right, y'all, that stuff is looking fantastic down there. Absolutely fantastic performance in the gel. Hit the gel at over 1400 feet per second down there. So if I see too much more of that, I'm gonna be down with the Cygnus. So let's see what this 10 mil does. I mean, this has got some big shoes to fill right there, but I feel like it's gonna do pretty good. I think I went too low and came out the side at the very end. Let me go see what happened. All right, y'all, let's check out what we got down here. I can tell you right now, we went from terrible on that previous test to terrific on this test right here. Both of these rounds did an absolutely fantastic job. On the top up here, the 357, and in the bottom, the 10 mil. Now, I'll tell you right now, we couldn't have got any closer than losing this 10 mil projectile. It didn't touch the bottom at all the way through its travel, and you can tell it got full travel. But then I'm guessing right now, before I even see the editing, the rebound kind of made that thing turn a little bit and almost popped it right out the side, but we did end up catching it. So let's take a look at them here on the top. Again, the 357 SIG, absolutely fantastic disruption, really nice looking spiral in action going on there. All the way through that block, you see that disruption. And then into this second block, looks like about exactly an inch. So absolutely fantastic penetration. And I can just tell you right now, it's got some really nice expansion to go along with that. And then on the bottom, that's our 10 mil. Again, very, very nice performance here. Comes in here, nice disruption, all that spiral in action again, carries that disruption once again, all the way through that first block into the second block. And this one looks like it goes maybe about 4 inches or so into this second block, which stands to reason being a heavier projectile. And once again, looks like really, really nice expansion on it. This 357 SIG actually went to 17¼ inches. So very, very nice, perfect penetration on that one in my opinion. And then your 10 mil went out here to 19½ inches. So again, in my opinion, both of these had absolutely fantastic, near perfect penetration. And here's your close-ups here again on the top. That's the 357 SIG, the bottom, the 10 mil. Very, very nice. I'm trying to get you some different angles so you can kind of differentiate with that 357 SIG. There's stuff way back behind it, but I think you can see really nice disruption from that thing all the way through that first block basically, and then you see the projectile there. And then we go back down to the 10 mil here again, very nice disruption all the way through that first 16-inch block into the second block, and you can see there it never touched the bottom, so it didn't have any effect on penetration. And you can even see those little wispies there. That's when you can tell it got to the end and had a little bit of a rebound. All right, y'all, let's take a look at these projectiles. Big difference in these things. Obviously, one started out way bigger and ended up being way bigger at the end. This right here is the 10 mil. This is the 357 SIG. Now, the 357 SIG definitely got more expansion. It peeled back almost to the base there, and there were a couple little specks of lead that actually fragmented off, and you can see even the way it drug that lead off, you can tell it kind of broke a little bits off the end there, but really nice expansion. Great expansion on both of these. The 10 mil, absolutely no slouch, and that big old chunk of lead right there would get some stuff done, buddy. But let's weigh them and see what kind of numbers we got there. The 357 SIG started at 125, and it's actually down to 121.4, so no surprise again. I knew I had to drag a little bit of lead out with it. The 10 mil started at 200, and it's at 201.1, so nothing at all lost on that one there. And then for your sizes on them, we'll start with the 357 SIG. You got 5.51, 5.79, and 5.63. So really nice expansion there. And then this big old 10 mil here, you got 6.97, 7.03, and 6.79. So really nice expansion on that one also. And there you have it, y'all. The Federal HST in 357 SIG and 10 mil. Very nice performance out of both of these. Really the only complaint I have is on this 10 mil just not being loaded strong enough. Y'all know how I am. I've talked about this HST before. That's a real shame that they watered down this 10 mil and loaded this 357 SIG so nicely. You know, I'm not an expert on 357 SIG and I hadn't tested a lot of it, but from what I have seen so far, this is some really good stuff right here. I mean, you got that thing 125 grain projectile moving at over 1400 at the 10 feet mark down here even. So you really can't ask for a whole lot more than that. So that being said, if I had to pick a winner right here, it's got to be the 357 SIG just based on pure math alone. All right, y'all, that's a wrap for what I think was a fantastic Federal HST test. Great performance from both of these rounds out here. But again, if I'm personally calling a winner out here, I think you have to call a 357 SIG a winner. There's absolutely no loser here. Don't get me wrong. Both of these rounds were an absolute pass. But just because of the way I feel about 10 mil, if that 10 mil was actually loaded up to what I consider true 10 mil power, it would have edged out that SIG in energy. So really, these are right here neck and neck, but if you're going to call a winner, I mean, you got to go with the math and call it for the 357 SIG. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about it. If you had to pick a winner out of one of these two based on just this performance right here, what would your call be? Would you go with that 357 or would you go with the 10 mil just based on the heavier weight projectile? Let me know down below what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed the video, take a second and hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you got your notifications turned on so you get notified when I upload new stuff. Be sure to check out those affiliate links in the video description. Anything you buy from going through those links, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so that definitely helps and I really appreciate that. Once again, a big thanks to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got a couple more really interesting tests planned for out here, so stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.